The Library Debate, The Philosophy of Science. Setting: a quiet corner in the university library. The atmosphere is serene, with tall shelves packed with books, soft lighting casting a warm glow over the room, and the occasional rustling of pages. A large wooden table sits in the middle, surrounded by comfortable chairs. Kabir, a handsome and intelligent philosophy postgraduate student, is seated at the table, his face illuminated by the soft light as he reviews his notes. Across from him, Emily Parry, a young and perceptive professor, sits with a stack of philosophical texts. Their shared passion for philosophy and the intellectual camaraderie between them is palpable, but today there's an added layer of tension as Emily's feelings for Kabir are subtly evident. The camera pans across the room, capturing the tranquil ambience of the library before settling on Kabir and Emily. The live debate will commence shortly, featuring prominent scholars discussing the philosophy of science.
Kabir, I've been looking forward to our discussion all week. The philosophy of science is such a fascinating area, don't you think?
Absolutely, Professor Parry. It's like unraveling the mysteries of how we come to know what we know. There's so much depth in the debates surrounding it.
Indeed. So where would you like to start today? We've covered so much ground in our previous discussions.
I've been thinking a lot about Kuhn's theory of paradigm shifts. It's revolutionary, the way it challenges the linear progression model of science. It's almost like Kuhn saw science as an ever-changing tapestry rather than a steady stream of progress.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Kuhn's idea that scientific progress isn't just a cumulative process, but involves radical shifts in understanding is truly intriguing. It suggests that our scientific paradigms are more like shifting perspectives than definitive truths.
Exactly. And yet, this idea can seem quite destabilizing. The notion that science is not a straightforward path, but rather a series of revolutions, raises questions about the objectivity of scientific knowledge.
It does challenge the notion of absolute objectivity. But then, doesn't it also make science more dynamic and alive? It's as if our understanding of the world is in constant evolution.
You've captured it perfectly. Science becomes a living dialogue, continually evolving. But what about Popper's falsifiability criterion? Isn't it crucial for maintaining the integrity of scientific inquiry?
Smiling, her tone reflecting both agreement and curiosity, Popper's criterion is indeed essential. It ensures that scientific theories remain testable and open to refutation. Without this, we risk slipping into dogmatism. But it's also important to acknowledge that not all valuable theories fit neatly into Popper's framework.
Raising an eyebrow, a playful challenge in his tone. You're right. Popper's emphasis on falsifiability is rigorous, but it can be limiting. For instance, Feyerabend's epistemological anarchism offers a provocative counterpoint. He argues that science doesn't adhere to a single method and that anything goes in the pursuit of knowledge.
Nodding thoughtfully, a soft smile on her lips. Feyerabend's perspective certainly shakes up the conventional view of science. It challenges us to consider that scientific progress might come from unconventional methods and creative thinking, rather than strict adherence to methodological rules.
With a hint of playful challenge. Yet, Feyerabend's approach could also risk undermining the very principles that make science reliable. How do we navigate this balance between methodological freedom and scientific rigor?
Her eyes meeting his, a warm smile on her lips. That's the question, isn't it? It's about finding a balance that allows for innovation, while maintaining a standard for evaluating scientific claims. Lakatos' idea of research programs offers a middle ground, suggesting that we judge theories based on their ability to advance or regress.
Smiling back, his admiration for Emily evident. Lakatos's framework does provide a nuanced way to evaluate scientific theories. It recognizes the value of both progressive and degenerative problem shifts. But tell me, Professor, how do you integrate these Western perspectives with your own philosophical views?
That's a fascinating question, Kabir. I find that the Western scientific approach often contrasts with more holistic and intuitive philosophical traditions. It's about finding a synthesis that respects both empirical rigor and the subjective dimensions of experience.
That's an insightful approach. It's like bridging two worlds, scientific rigor and philosophical depth. I've always admired how you manage to navigate these complex ideas with such grace.
Thank you, Kabir. Your enthusiasm and depth of understanding make these discussions so enriching. It's a pleasure to explore these ideas with someone who is so passionate and perceptive.
The conversation takes a more personal turn, the intellectual intensity of their debate now intertwined with a more intimate connection. Emily's admiration for Kabir is palpable, though she keeps her feelings carefully veiled.
Professor, how do you reconcile the more abstract aspects of philosophy with the practical implications of scientific theories? Sometimes it feels like there's a divide between theory and practice.
It's a delicate balance. Philosophy often provides the conceptual framework that can guide practical applications. In turn, scientific developments can challenge and refine philosophical ideas. It's a dynamic interplay between theory and practice.
I see what you mean. The interplay between theory and practice can lead to a richer understanding of both. It's like a dance between abstract concepts and real-world applications.
Yes, it's a beautiful dance. And in this dance, there's room for both intellectual exploration and personal connection.
There's a moment of silence filled with unspoken emotions. Emily's affection for Kabir is evident, though not explicitly addressed. The atmosphere is charged with a quiet intensity as they continue their discussion.
I've learned so much from these discussions, Professor. Your insights and perspective are invaluable.
It's been a privilege, Kabir. Your passion for philosophy and your ability to bridge different perspectives are truly inspiring.
As they gather their notes and prepare to leave, the debate has drawn them closer, blending intellectual engagement with a more personal connection.
I look forward to our next discussion, Professor. There's always so much to explore and learn.
Me too, Kabir. Never stop questioning and seeking. That's what makes the journey so meaningful.
As they part ways, the unspoken emotions linger, promising that their future meetings will continue to be as intellectually stimulating as they are personally significant. End scene.